Welcome everybody to the Ways of the Force. I am your host, Jake the Wookie, and alongside me today, we have...
Logi-Wan Kenobi.
And Kyle, no daddy issues run.
It's just a small show today, just the three of us, but this is the show all about Star Wars, and we're heading away with our 8th episode, so let's get this underway. The first topic of news this week comes from a source from The Wrap at some weird bank, like German bank conference. The head of Disney, Bob Iger, basically was giving a presentation and had some stuff to say about the Young Han Solo movie and the spin-off movies in general. And he said, quote, "We have others in the works, including one which is an origin story about Han Solo and Chewy," he continued, "and that'll come after Star Wars 8 in 2018, and then there'll possibly be more thereafter." Then goes on to say this about the spin-off movies in general: "Star Wars stories will be marketed differently, but aggressively." So what do you guys think about basically being a Han Solo and Chewie movie now?
It makes sense.
It makes complete sense.
So does that mean, is it still canon that Chewbacca owes him a life debt for saving his life, or is that no longer the case?
I think
don't
so,
remember where that was from.
There's a book coming out called Life Debt.
Called Life Debt. Yeah, I think that's the one coming after the Leia book, I think possibly.
So. But yeah, I mean...
I would assume we would see that
you think,
somewhere
right?
in there.
Because they're casting a young Han Solo. So probably they're young.
That would be a good
yeah, pretty much
start it off. As opposed to old.
Yeah. Maybe we'll find out finally why Han Solo can understand him and hardly anyone else can.
We see
that's a good
Han
point.
Solo learning Huttese.
I was going to say, is he going to just know it right away? Is he the first Wookiee he's ever come in?
Yeah, I don't know.
What the hell are you talking about?
I heard the craziest thing today. I was listening to the Jedi Council. They were saying that in the extended universe, it was canon that Chewie had a speech impediment. And that was why he spoke the way he did, but all other Wookiees spoke English.
Yeah, I think that's just crazy.
So I'm glad that's no longer canon, because that's crazy.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be interested to see how...
It's definitely in Revenge of the Sith when they're on Kashyyyk.
Yeah.
All the Wookiees
Yeah,
are still just growling.
And that makes complete sense. I feel like it would be super weird if a Wookiee all of a sudden started speaking English.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I think it makes complete sense. I mean, how could you have a young Han Solo movie and not have Chewie? It would just be, it would be really weird.
That would be really, really young.
Yeah.
Little kid Han Solo.
Pre-teen Han Solo
Han Solo.
movie.
Adolescence.
Yeah.
Puberty. Han Solo against puberty.
Yeah, it'd be cool to see them meet for the first time and basically see him maybe win the Millennium Falcon and some gambling, maybe do the Kessel Run. There's a lot of cool stuff they can do. It's just a matter of who are they going to cast as Han Solo.
Yeah, that's still the biggest.
Well, it's very interesting too. I've always, in The Force Awakens, they've perpetuated now this parsec being a measure of speed and not distance, even though it seems like they kind of went away from it. Like, if you ever noticed in the Clone Wars series, they started using parsec to mean distance.
Mm-hmm.
So you still
I wonder if we'll get that again.
The crazy theory is if he went close to a black hole to actually shorten the distance.
Oh, I've never heard that.
Yeah,
I think that actually got debunked
really?
by people who are smart, but
I think it'll be interesting. I mean, what were the circumstances in which Chewie owed him a life debt? I mean, it can't be something small,
right?
Because
it's gotta be something big.
Yeah, because I think in the old canon, Chewie was basically a slave to the Empire. So I think all the Wookiees got enslaved or something.
Mm-hmm.
So possibly he freed him. So they can do something similar still, or just come up with something new. Either way, it'll be a pretty cool movie.
Any other guesses on who the Han will be? I'm guessing they've cast him by now. Maybe not.
2018. They still got a
Yeah.
while.
They've still got a little ways,
I
unless
think it's interesting that they even started in the first place. It's
Yeah.
really far off.
unless he was making a cameo in Rogue One, which could be the possibility why
It's
they were
true.
trying to cast so early.
I think that'd be kind of weird though.
Well,
What are the circumstances in which he'll show up in Rogue
Yeah.
One?
He could just be in the background in a cantina or something.
Maybe.
Just
Like
like
yeah, it couldn't be anything more than that.
if they want to hire some bounty hunters
Smuggler.
or some
Yeah.
smuggler to do something, like smuggle the Death Star plans, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. So
I suppose it's feasible.
yeah,
Well, then would Chewie be in it too?
could be. Because luckily with Chewbacca, you can have anybody really play him.
That's true.
Just somebody tall.
Yeah. Because in the new movie, the actor hardly was able to do much since his knees are so
Yeah,
bad.
they've got a new guy.
I think they had like multiple people actually do it, but the main guy was like some giant Swedish guy, I think.
Do you still like the idea of the Han movie?
I'm gonna have to hold my thoughts until I see it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be tricky.
You don't have any thoughts about
I'm
it? You don't-
excited, but I am scared.
I don't know.
If-
I'm not really.
If Rogue One goes well, I think I'll be a little more excited about it. It's just a matter of who they cast. And
I'm
I
still
don't
not
know.
sure what to expect from any of these
Yeah.
stories. I
Yeah,
guess.
Star Wars
I
stories.
think Rogue One's going to be sweet.
Oh,
The
I'm
more I think about it, the more I think it'll be really cool.
Yeah.
I, agree
I
with
hope. I mean, if it comes out and it's a bum movie, that'll really suck.
that. Yeah, I agree with that.
And I wonder too if, because didn't Bob Iger say something too, like, kind of that these spin-offs, how many they do will depend. Kind of. I mean, he said something like that.
Yeah.
Not word for word that it'll depend.
Pretty
But he
much.
said we'll kind of like see how it goes and
I
move
thought I read
forward.
something about they were in talks for 10 more movies.
Yeah, I read
Yeah.
something like that too.
That they have 10 in development, basically. Like, they have ideas,
See, that's
basic outlines down.
That's what scares me so much about the stories.
I think it's going to
I
get
don't want it to get
oversaturated.
saturated. I don't.
Yeah.
But I do. But I don't.
I know. It's like, I'm at
I
war.
wanna
I'm
get
at war. I'm at
saturated.
war with myself.
I want to get saturated with great Star Wars movies. I don't want to get saturated with
What do you-
half-ass.
What do you think is the right amount? Like how many movies in how many years is like a?
I don't think we can do more than one a year.
I think one a year is a good.
Good thing.
I think it's you have a whole year to get
Yeah.
ramped up for it.
You've got 2 years to focus on the actual trilogies.
Having 2 years between the trilogies and then like every other one being in a story or anthology. I think they need to come up with a better, whatever the series is. I hate a
Story?
Star Wars story. I don't like that. I hope it's better than that because like if it's Han Solo, a Star Wars story.
Oh. Yeah, they
Yeah,
should
that
probably
sounds
have a better
dumb.
name.
I don't know. What if it's just called, like, Han and Chewy?
That sounds like a really shitty
Han,
sitcom.
Han and Chewy, yeah,
Sounds like
1970s.
Turner Nooch.
Yeah. Hey, he is like a dog.
It's kind of like
He is a dog, kind
it's
of.
gonna be a cop show with a dog.
Yeah, cool. I'd watch
I
it.
don't. The more I think about the Star Wars stories, and the more I just want them to be about different characters than we've seen. Like I'm okay with. I think the reason why I really like Rogue One is because it's gonna be centered around different characters, but also have the characters we know. I think that's a good. I just feel like you start doing too many of these origin stories, and what we're gonna get like a C-3PO origin. Like
Mhm.
I don't want to watch
Wasn't
that.
that
I don't want to
episode
watch
one?
that crap.
Yeah, that'd be bad. Hopefully they get away from just using familiar characters
So
and
that's
go in more uncharted territory.
that's my
but-
one reservation about Han is it's like I don't know.
Mhm.
I feel like you have to
That's-
do it really, really well, and I feel like there's a large margin for error.
Mhm.
Those are very big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
So moving on, basically this week fans were treated to a Darth Maul fan film that just came out, basically showing Darth Maul just killing a bunch of Jedi, essentially.
Whooping trash.
Yeah. And like the effects and production value of the fan film were pretty solid.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was very surprising.
Yeah, I know. At first I expected, it's just gonna be some
Yeah,
people
like
in their backyard.
Walmart lightsabers, you know.
Yeah.
But man, it was impressive. Like I even like some of the ways they did things better than the movies have done things. Like when they do like the Force, it was actually like a thing. I don't know. I thought it was
didn't
cool.
Like that.
It was
didn't.
different. It was like comic book
Yeah.
almost, kind of like Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah,
a little
kind
bit.
of. I thought Darth Maul looked pretty cool. They did a decent makeup job on him and stuff. Some of the Jedi looked a little cheaper, but
Yeah, and
For what it was.
For what it was, pretty
fantastic.
good.
I mean, if it came from Disney, I'd probably
yeah,
pick it apart, but
yeah, I thought like the fighting and the choreography was intense and really really cool.
hmm
acting, not so much.
Not the greatest.
But
I liked his act. I mean, he didn't do a whole lot, Darth
Right.
Maul, but I liked
yeah.
what he did.
Because with this fan film, it's actually gotten like hugely popular. Just because Darth Maul is just such a popular character. How do you think the prequels would have gone if like he wasn't killed off in Episode 1?
Okay, I had thought about this. The only way I think
Well, he wasn't. We have to clarify. He wasn't killed
okay,
off.
he wasn't killed off
but he
because
never
of
came-
the Clone Wars.
He never came back.
In the movies, though, he's basically killed off.
the only way I see it improving is what I would have liked to see. They always talk about the apprentice trying to overthrow. That I think would have been a cooler way for him to go.
He
Just
was
trying to overthrow Sidious, and then it brought Dooku in.
Yeah.
But
and that's kind of the arc he takes.
because we
in
never
Clone
really
Wars
see
a little
that, they
bit.
talk about it quite often.
Mm-hmm.
But that was my thought.
What do you think, Logan?
It's hard to say because I mean that's what happens, and we kind of have to accept it. And it's really difficult to think like if he stayed around, we wouldn't have gotten Dooku, and I don't know. I mean, Dooku was kind of like the leader of the Separatists. He was a kind of a political figure in that way. Would Darth Maul have been able to do the same thing?
And he wasn't
I
a
don't know.
traitor. I mean, he did bring Dooku brought some of that as far as being a former Jedi and having the personal connection with Qui-Gon.
Yeah. I mean, Darth Maul is really cool.
It's kind of like your favorite artist dying young. You never get to see him turn to shit. It's just
And maybe that's good. I mean, it's
Right.
kind of like I like how mysterious he is, and he doesn't really have a whole lot of lines. I think that's good. I feel like the more lines you give him, the worse he gets.
yes, because that's who he is just
Yeah.
a figure of a
Mhm.
badass.
Like when he came back in the Clone Wars series, it was really cool because I loved the character, and I think they did it in an okay way that it was semi believable. But he just had to talk too much, and
Yeah, he did talk a
he kind of
lot.
lost his how cool he was. And,
Mojo?
yeah, just
Yeah.
how scary. I don't know. I guess for whatever reason, when a character starts speaking more, like
Mm-hmm.
they have the potential to not be as scary and
I don't
mysterious.
think Darth Maul is someone you want to personify. You just want to see him.
Yeah.
Being
And that's
a
why
badass,
that's why I
I
think
mean-
this fan film was cool because that's all it was. I mean, there
Mhm.
wasn't really a story.
There was a little bit of
Yeah.
him struggling to kill the last apprentice
Yeah.
chick.
Whatever that
Basically,
was.
his training under Palpatine. Yeah.
Yeah.
But man, he was whooping some. And
Jedi Bane.
the fan film kind of made me wonder: do you think we would ever get a Darth Maul anthology?
I think it's possible.
Should we?
I don't know if we should, but I think
It's
he's a popular
possible,
enough.
but it's just like
Especially because of this and like how well it's being
yeah.
received. I mean, Disney would look at something like this and be like, if this fan film can do this, man, we could make something better than that.
Yeah, it's just hard to say since, especially lately, they're trying to move away from the prequels, kind of push them off, sweep them under the
These
rug.
didn't happen.
Yeah, that's why.
They're canon.
Yeah,
We don't talk about them.
everything's about the original trilogy basically now. But it would have been cool if in like Attack the Clones you saw Darth Maul fight Anakin Skywalker. Maybe
Oh,
that would have been a cool fight.
Yeah.
So, or just kind of him and Obi-Wan kind of having like a don't know, constantly battle over the
Yeah.
length of the Clone Wars,
Instead
kind of like a
of
rivalry.
Grievous.
Yeah, instead of Grievous or somebody. Like,
For sure.
I don't know. Could have had still multiple Sith, maybe, but they're still vying just for the top two or something.
I think Darth Maul is really similar to Boba Fett in the way that people have received him.
Yeah.
And two, it's probably best to just leave them with the time that they've got.
Mm-hmm.
Because the more you delve into their story, maybe they'll start to lose what people really love about them.
Yeah.
That like mystery
Well,
and the
it's
dark.
because you can make up whatever you want.
Yeah.
'Cause you really know nothing.
You don't know a whole
as
lot.
far as-
And
Yeah. And it's just kind of funny. At the time when episode 1 came out, he was on all of the packaging.
Yep.
Kind of like they did with, like, Kylo on, like, every single packaging. Darth Maul was on every single bit of packaging.
Yeah.
And then everyone was disappointed to find out he was in the movie, like, maybe 15 total minutes.
although I do think it would be cool to learn more like about where Darth Maul came from.
Yeah.
Because his species is kind of an interesting
He's,
thing. They have a book, though, don't they?
Yeah.
Isn't he Son of Dathomir or something like that?
There's one called Darth Maul Shadow Hunter, where basically he's in the underground of Coruscant, like fighting a Jedi, and it's kind of hidden from the Jedi down there in the underbelly. And then I think there's like a comic called The Son of Dathomir or something.
Yeah, maybe that's best. It's probably best if he kind of stays in those.
Yeah, so... And that Shadow Hunter book came out about the same time episode 1 did, so
Okay.
it's fairly early on, so...
But very well done. Whoever did that fan film.
Yeah. Kudos.
I didn't watch. I saw they had like a behind the scenes
yeah, I didn't.
I
get
didn't
a chance
watch
to
that.
Yeah, I don't
I
have a chance
might
either, yeah.
just to see. But it was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. And another thing of the news this week, Daisy Ridley is possibly in discussion to play Lara Craft Tomb Raider. So possibly be in another franchise. What do you guys think about the possibility of her being in 2 separate franchises? And do you think she'll ever be able to escape being in Star Wars now that like her breakout role was Star Wars?
She's, to me, it seems like really trying to follow the Harrison Ford thing. You know,
She could
this
be.
is her Indiana Jones
it's,
I mean-
basically the exact same person.
because it's already a famous character.
Yeah.
And a
I-
crime fighting archaeologist.
Yeah, she doesn't really, I don't know, fit that for me, Lara Croft. I'm fine with her doing other things, but
It's hard
the
to say.
character she portrayed in The Force Awakens was
Well, and they're saying too that
pretty
it'll
great.
this movie is set to be like in 2017, I think, which would be
no idea.
around episode 8.
Right.
It's like, how would she juggle all of the media for episode 8 and then doing this Lara Croft thing? Sounds superficial, but she does not have the figure of
Yeah.
Lara Croft. Which I guess if they're trying to make
Nobody.
a more...
Yeah, that's a made up
I mean-
video game by a bunch of dudes. That,
I heard the thing that that Angelina Jolie was like physically enhanced.
She was enhanced.
Yeah, in
certain
every
areas.
in every scene
Yes.
of those
oh
movies,
my god.
because she wasn't even big
Yeah.
enough
Nope.
in that area.
Nope.
Yeah.
Which, if she wasn't, Daisy Ridley
Daisy
definitely
Ridley
is not.
no.
Because basically Harrison Ford is the only one to be able to break through out of the original trilogy of Star Wars and be in other things.
Mark Hamill did in different ways. He was a voice actor,
Kind of.
Boy, yeah, he couldn't,
not on the
Yeah.
big screen though.
because he got real weird looking too. That was part of it. And then Carrie Fisher had some emotional,
Some Carrie Fisher.
some Carrie
And
Fisherisms
let's-
that kept her from acting.
And let's be honest, this might be blasphemous to say, but out of the cast of the original trilogy,
He deserved it the most.
were the other? I mean, are they even very good actors? Like to be able to fit another? I mean, there's debate in my mind if they were even good enough to be in the role that they were cast as Luke and Leia.
That's part of why I liked it so much, though. It wasn't the Hollywood superstars.
That's true.
Yeah. basically Alec Guinness,
It's
who
pretty
played
much.
Obi-Wan, was the only
Yeah.
real actor, and the guy who played Tarkin were the
Yeah.
only real actors on the
And the voice of Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Right?
Han Solo was a freaking Harrison Ford was a carpenter that they brought in to read lines, and he got the role.
That's so crazy to me. But I do think that Daisy Ridley could. I think she could do other roles. Maybe not this one,
Mhm.
Yeah, I think so.
but
I don't picture her as Lara Croft, though.
the question is, will she do it during Star Wars? Like while these trilogies are still happening, will she venture into other
Well,
things?
it sounds like Star Wars is going to live on for
A while.
A long
May
time.
need her, may need her to work for a while, depending on how the trilogy goes.
It's true.
And like already, the guy who plays Poe Dameron, he does a lot of smaller kind of indie films that he's been known for. So he'll
But yeah, he said
continue
he was
to
in X whatever.
Ex Machina.
Interesting.
Yeah, bunch of random movies.
I mean, I can see John Boyega and other things. I think he's a good actor.
Yeah, he's charismatic enough that I
Yeah.
think Adam Driver now might be forever cast as an
Yeah.
emo kind of weirdo.
Yeah, I think it might.
He
He might
be
have. I
engaged.
think he might have a tough time coming
Yeah.
out of.
After these movies, 'cause-
But I do think, and I don't know why it's this way, but I do think it enhances an actor and how you perceive them when you see them outside of other things. Because you think about the thing I automatically thought about was Daniel Radcliffe as Harry Potter. I don't feel like you're ever going to be.
Or Frodo.
If I ever, or Frodo. I mean, I'm never going to be able to see him in another movie. He's just Harry Potter to me.
Yeah.
Because he never did anything big while Harry Potter was also happening.
Mhm.
I agree.
I think
I think she
it could be good for the
deserves-
franchise for these actors to get out and do other things,
Mhm.
show people that they can do other roles, and
Yeah, because in the prequels, like Ewan McGregor, you see him now, and you're like, I don't always necessarily picture him as Obi-Wan, kind of, but
Certainly not Samuel.
Samuel Jackson's in a million movies, so
yeah, him being in other things might not
Yeah.
enhance it. But
yeah,
like,
I just
I
see
think-
Sam Jackson. So
I think that the fact that Ewan McGregor has been able to get out and do different things, like now that I go back and watch his performance, I think I can respect it more as opposed to if he was never in anything else.
Mhm.
There are times when his performance isn't great, like in episode 1 and even episode 2. But
still the best actor of the bunch.
Yeah.
Everyone else
well,
was phoning it in pretty bad.
you got the award for the least smelly crap.
Yeah. So, and speaking of Daisy Ridley and her character Rey, J.J. Abrams has just come out this week and actually admitted kind of one of his mistakes about this movie, and talks about the hug between Rey and Leia at the end of the movie, and just kind of like Chewbacca didn't get a hug at the end of the movie. He just kind of ran off.
He always gets left out.
Yeah, he does
Didn't
get
get a
left
medal.
out.
by Leia too. It's like deliberate.
And J.J. Abrams had this to say, quote, "That was probably one of the mistakes I made in that. My thinking at the time was that Chewbacca, despite the pain he was feeling, was focused on trying to save Finn and getting him taken care of. So I tried to have Chewbacca go off with him and focus on Rey, and then have Rey find Leia and Leia find Rey. The idea being that both of them, being strong with the Force and never having met, would know about each other, that Leia would have been told about her beyond what we saw on screen, and Rey, of course, would have learned about Leia. And that reunion would be a meeting and a reunion all in one, and a sort of commiseration of their mutual loss." So what do you guys take away from what JJ said about this moment in the film?
I'll let you take the obvious one.
Yeah, the part that I inflected in the...
I want to save that one actually.
We'll
I
save
feel
that
like
one
that's
for
the
a
most
bit.
important part.
yeah.
The first thing that jumps out to me is I think it's cool that he admits it was an oversight. I think that's cool. I think
He's
it's a rare thing in a director,
Mhm.
especially a director of Star Wars, to admit that something was. But for me, like was it even something that you guys noticed in the movie?
I just...
Not at the time, but
thinking about it afterwards, I'm like, it was a little weird that they hugged that, like, closely for never having met, is what I thought.
Yeah, and that's what I focused on too. Was Leia and Rey meeting, I didn't even really notice Chewie walking by without getting a hug.
I was still Star Wars.
Yeah, I was just blown
Just
away.
don't
Yeah.
like, oh no, it's gonna stop soon.
But reading all that crap
People
after
are pissed.
everybody else, I was like, oh, okay, I
People
guess
are
it makes
so-
sense.
people-
It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
groundbreaking for me or deal breaker. But
Yeah. So when the Resistance first landed on Takodana, and Leia gets out for the first time, the first person she hugs is Chewie,
Yeah.
actually. So it's kind of funny.
Well, wouldn't you want to hug
I
Chewie?
guess,
Probably
yeah.
pretty soft.
I don't know. Is he smelly? Maybe? I don't know.
I don't know.
Probably gives good hugs. But JJ, he said something too about how he could have angled the camera differently, so you didn't even see Chewie walk past Leia, and that's probably what they should have done. And
Mm-hmm.
I tend to agree. I don't know. I feel like it would have been. They wouldn't have fit the moment if
Just
Chewie
A
hugged her
line
and
of
then
people behind her giving hugs.
Yeah, hug line like at a wedding or
All
funeral.
of them.
But the fact that they show Chewie walking accentuates that he's not getting a hug, and
It probably wouldn't have even really been noticed if he wasn't
yeah,
in the
and
background.
I don't think it would have, and people would have just been okay with it.
I guess.
So then, moving on to the
the big part of what
never
JJ said.
having met.
Yeah, this first of all debunks the one that I don't think anybody believed that
No,
she was
I
the
never
forgotten daughter of Han and
Han
Leia.
and Leia. But to me now, it's I guess it's still possible, but somewhat less likely in my mind that she is Luke's daughter. What are the chances of this is Luke's daughter and he's never met Luke's sister?
It could have just been a slip of the tongue, too. I mean,
That's true.
never met as adults, just...
Yeah,
It is J.J.
I don't
Abrams.
know.
Yeah.
I mean,
he did lie in
Yeah.
Star Trek that the guy wasn't
It's
going
not
to be
gonna be
Khan,
Khan.
and then he ended up being
It's straight up
Khan.
con. Yeah, so
I don't know. I didn't read too far into it.
Yeah, it's hard to say. So obviously the speculation continues on who she actually is.
I never thought that it was Luke's daughter anyways, but...
Yeah, I don't think so either.
you don't think so anymore?
Yeah, what are your bets? Who do you think she is? Nobody, a Kenobi, or a Skywalker? That's pretty much the theories right now.
She's
I don't.
not a Calrissian.
She could be.
Make-
She's related to Finn,
Yeah.
according to Ghazi the Hutt.
Yeah, we got to make a. What's our other ongoing bet?
I think she's
I
nobody.
forgot.
I
Who
forgot
speaks
to.
first? In
Episode 8.
Yeah,
That's our other
whether
bet
it's a
we have
question or a
going.
statement.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that she's not real. She's not a Skywalker. She's not a Kenobi.
I think the most likely choice for me is a Kenobi.
I would really like that. I'm just wondering how they would do that.
I have no idea.
I feel like it would take way too much explaining.
Possibly, yeah. Because you still have to explain her British accent, I guess. Because if she is a Skywalker, it makes no sense.
Yeah, why would you? I mean, nobody else on Jakku has a British accent, so it's not even like it's a regional thing.
No.
Yeah,
Oh.
it'll be interesting.
Yeah,
Whatever they
probably.
do, I think it'll be the best.
Mhm.
I really hope, though, she's not a Skywalker.
We'll find out in...
Or they better explain really, really well why Luke just, left her there for 20 years.
Find out in a year and 9 months? Oh, that sounds... 8 months?
Ish.
December, yeah.
We'll round up.
That sounds brutal.
We're part of the way through.
Sounds brutal.
Well, you get Rogue One
I
between.
guess.
You
But
can't-
still
you
so
can't-
many questions.
You can't complain.
Yeah, I guess.
We've had so much longer wait for other Star Wars movies that weren't even
Yeah.
that good.
It's not a decade.
Yeah. Or because even the prequels were, 3 years
3
apart?
years apart.
So,
And we already
yeah.
did fillers. So.
yeah. So, moving on to the next thing. Pablo Hidalgo, who's the Lucasfilm story group, basically the creative executive, one of the top
Basically,
people.
the coolest freaking job in the world.
Yeah, pretty much every Star Wars nerd's
I get paid to know
dream.
everything about Star Wars.
Yeah, basically you just sit there and outline entire movies. He's in charge of figuring out what they're going to write books about.
Read every book that's
animated
written.
shows.
Read every comic. Watch
He fills
everything.
his head with knowledge.
That dude knows everything.
Yeah.
Very active on Twitter too.
Yeah. Basically, people, you can just go like at Pablo Hidalgo or whatever his Twitter handler is and ask him a question, and he most likely will answer you. As long as it's not too stupid.
Yeah.
But on Twitter this week, when responding to fans, he basically, first of all, debunks the recent episode 8 titles going around
Good.
by saying
God.
The
Thank
Force
you.
Awakens didn't have one until September 2014. Oh, missed the first part. For those playing the title game, The Force Awakens didn't have one until after September 2014. So basically saying just a year
About
shy
a
of the
year.
movie coming out. So possibly, I'm guessing we won't actually have the title until Rogue One comes out. So that's when I think the trailer is going to come
Basically,
out.
saying the title of the movies is Space Bears.
Space Bears for now.
You think they're gonna release the trailer with Rogue One?
I think they will. Or do you think
Maybe.
they'll wait?
I think they'll wait.
I feel like that would. I feel like it might detract from the movie.
See, I was waiting.
I wouldn't be able to watch the movie.
I guess I was waiting for the Rogue One trailer
We're
with
still waiting.
Force
for that.
Awakens.
Maybe if
but
if they released it around Rogue
Yeah.
One, but not like
maybe just after
or
something.
something.
Yeah.
I would vote for just after.
Oh, we might at least.
I don't want to
get-
be thinking about
Yeah.
episode 8 during
Oh my gosh.
Rogue One.
It would blow my mind. If all of a
No.
sudden like doo-doo-doo, and you go on the island before, I wouldn't be able to watch Rogue One.
Be like, oh, this is too important.
I'd be thinking the whole time, like, oh no, who is Rey? I don't want to watch a Star Wars story. I want to watch Star Wars.
Mm-hmm. And the other big thing that he said on Twitter this week, basically someone was complaining about the lightsaber combat or something. I don't remember what, to Pablo Hidalgo. And he said, like, a Jedi are, not just about lightsaber skills or something. And then said something about there weren't even any Sith in this movie.
There were no Sith.
So
in
then-
Force Awakens.
So then basically the person asks again, wait, you said there were no Sith in that movie. And then he basically confirms and then says straight up, yep, neither Kylo or Snoke are Sith. Darthless, as it were.
I cannot believe that he just so bluntly, like, not even room for interpretation, just shot that down.
Yeah.
But he said they're not. So Snoke is not a Sith right now.
See, I think that basically they're just abandoning the idea of the Sith. They're still obviously dark side users, but maybe the Sith is just like, you have their culture, kind of the traditions.
Yeah, and I like that idea that, like, the Sith is kind of like Christianity, but there's also like Islam, right? So there's other interpretations.
Somebody out there is just gonna hate you for comparing the Sith to Christianity.
I'm just saying, like, if the Sith, if the dark side is like religion,
Right.
there are different sects
Mhm.
within, faith or whatever, and I think the same could be true of the Jedi. If someday, like, they showed us a different interpretation of the light side, I think that'd be cool. But
I would be sad if there was truly no more Sith from now on, though.
I still think
I
that it's possible. I
I
mean,
think
what if Benicio del Toro's a Sith?
I think Kylo was way too obsessed with Darth Vader.
I know,
And
yeah.
he
to
might
not bring it
he
back.
might kill Snoke and, like, become a Sith,
Right.
want to be a Sith. Because there's still probably a bunch of Sith relics all over the place, Sith temples.
Yeah, I'm completely fine with these two in this movie not being a Sith. I really wish I didn't know that about Snoke, because
I think it's
he's
cool.
still completely mysterious to me, except for now I just know he's
I
not
still-
a Sith.
I still think
Right.
that he's been just, like, chilling on this planet, just getting really dark and really evil.
Yeah.
And, like, he sees the Sith as just this little teeny part of the dark side, and it's so much bigger than that.
So then it also kind of, they don't have to go by the Sith rule of
rule
two
of
anymore.
two, yeah.
So maybe you can have more dark side users in the trilogy. Maybe one more will pop up. just a lot of the kind of traditions of it and stuff don't really have to go by anymore. So
I think by the end of episode 9, they'll be back
I think
to the way it was.
the revenge,
I think
the
it will
revenge of
be-
the revenge of the Sith.
Yes.
like they have a movie like Episode 9, Return of the Sith or something like that.
Let's not
Return
get
of
into
the Jedi.
titles again.
Yeah, we're terrible at titles.
The Tales of the Returns of the Sith
Story.
Templars. But no, I mean, I think people automatically jump to say, well, Snoke is not Plagueis anymore.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's necessarily true, If
I'm just
if
Reborn
Plagueis
as not a Sith.
if Plagueis was a Sith and he's like, well, part of being a Sith is that my apprentice kills me. That freaking sucks. And he
Yeah.
survives somehow. He might decide that he doesn't want to be a Sith anymore. And years and years and years, he's not a Sith, but he's still dark.
maybe he's like, I want an army of dark side users,
Yeah.
none of them that kill me.
Like, it's forbidden to kill me. Like, don't try to kill me.
But then, I wonder if like certain Sith stuff, like say Force Lightning, I don't know if that's necessarily a only Sith thing or a dark side in general.
I don't know.
I don't know.
So I wonder if we're going to see Sith
Oh.
Lightning at all, or Force Lightning, I guess.
Or
I've always
some-
wondered that. Like,
Something
There.
new.
there are always these
Yeah.
specific abilities that are exclusive to the Sith or exclusive to the Jedi. But isn't it interesting that in Return of the Jedi, Luke chokes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He force
Luke
chokes
Force
people.
chokes. And Yoda, in a way, can
He can kind of
control.
reflect
Yeah,
the
reflect the
lightning.
lightning. He can basically create like a force barrier or something
Yeah,
almost.
Like a force field.
Force field.
It's like a force. It's like a force mirror because it like
Force
reflects
field.
Yeah.
the stuff back.
I don't know. It's hard
I
to-
just
we're
think-
bad at naming things.
Yeah.
I just think the Force it can be bigger than just the Jedi and the Sith, and maybe exploring that
Mhm.
could be interesting.
'Cause maybe he's from like a far outer rim planet that's never heard of the Sith.
Maybe
and
he's in a galaxy even further away.
From even a longer time
and,
ago.
and at the beginning, like it's gonna be in a galaxy even further away than the galaxy far, far away, and then it's gonna be Star Wars.
Or a galaxy slightly closer than the one that's really far away.
The galaxy slightly closer to the galaxy you're a part of.
What were you gonna say though, Kyle?
I don't remember. What was I going to say? Oh, okay. Since we were talking about Jedi and Sith having their own specific Force
Mhm.
abilities, if these guys aren't Sith, are we going to see something new? Do we want to see something new? Do you have any idea what the hell you would like to see?
Because Kylo's abilities were new in The Force Awakens. They basically straight up froze a blaster bolt
I've
midair.
never seen that.
When he had
He
the
could-
ability to probe people's minds.
Mines, yeah.
What if they could like explode people's heads or something like that? Like,
Yeah.
Why
Force head
can't-
explode.
Why can't they?
or like explode their heart, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just
Like the-
do crazy stuff.
The death touch of the Force, basically, that just stops their heart.
They can stop a blaster.
It's pretty dark.
Yeah.
Maybe that's even too dark. I don't know.
Yeah.
If we-
Too easy.
If we like,
At least.
I mean, because you can use the Force to manipulate life. What if we saw him like raising people from the dead as like armies? Like,
We're back into like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
stuff
this is
there.
like Lord of the
Return
Rings.
of the
I mean,
King.
you never know. Like raising an army of past Jedi, but they're bad. I don't know. Crazy.
I don't know. I would like
That
to
would be
see
too nuts,
something
though.
new,
Yeah.
at least as far as like combat goes.
Mhm.
I'd be interested to see
You
something.
think that the Star Wars fans at large will revolt if we get too far from?
I mean, if they start pulling like Superman flying and like force lightning out of the eyeballs, that might. But
That would be cool.
Laser beams
Like
out of the eyes.
laser beam.
Yeah. Because in the prequels, the Jedi were almost like superheroes in a way. A lot of their abilities, like a crazy force jump.
yeah,
And
Well,
obviously
I
in the
mean-
Clone Wars, we were just
We
watching.
were just watching the cartoon, really cartoon version of the Clone Wars, and Mace Windu's doing I mean, he jumped really far.
Yeah.
Like a mile almost. Man, it's just
Yeah.
crazy.
Oh, and Dooku flew
Yeah.
pretty much. I mean, used the Force. That might have been before you watched, but
But yeah, there are people who somehow, and I don't understand, hate The Force Awakens.
yeah.
And it
if
was,
you-
I mean, it was as close to being like the old movies as I think you can possibly get without them being a shot-for-shot remake. So to me, it's just like, there's certain people you're never gonna win.
No,
You're never
with
gonna
something
win.
like this. they're
People
not.
just don't like to have fun.
They
were
just don't. They don't like new.
I
They
mean-
want new, but they don't want new. They just want you to like redo the old one with today's
We just want
technology.
to argue,
Yeah.
but
I
yeah.
really
did you
don't
scroll down on that fan film? And
Yeah.
read? Oh man, I got so pissed.
This
Everyone
is
was
so
just
much better
reading
than The
those.
Force Awakens. Like, what is wrong with you?
I bet a lot of those people were just trolling, though.
Yeah.
The Force Awakens, I mean, it's not only well received by the fans, it's critically acclaimed. The acting, I mean, I just don't understand how people. Of course, it's not a perfect movie.
Yeah.
And there are things that are going to tick you off, but
Yeah.
to say it's terrible,
Just
I
reading
feel like,
like
you've
10 of
got
those.
you've
I
got
just
way
wanted
too much nostalgia for the past. I mean, they're great. The past ones are great films. But come on, like let's move forward. This is such a huge universe. Let's explore it. Let's give people room to be creative. And I would love to see some expanded views of the dark side and the light side, outside Jedi and Sith. But I just don't.
Mhm.
I don't think.
I think
I don't
we
think the
will.
fans at large would.
I think that's why
accept
they really did The Force Awakens the way that they did, is to kind of
Bridge
appease
it.
that, and now let us go on our own way and do our own
They can
thing.
do whatever now.
As long as
with
we
the
don't
rest
get
of it.
too crazy.
Well, yeah, you
Yeah.
can't go
Too far out
too
there.
far, but
Yeah.
I think as the farther we get away, it'll
Mm-hmm.
take on its own.
I hope so. There's just so much you can do.
And I could kind of see, like, because you said in the novelization, Rey was kind of struggling with the dark side when she fought. So, like, her and Luke kind of are bordering still on the edge, I think, of kind of being almost gray Jedi. They're not necessarily, like, light like Yoda. And
Yeah, I think Luke is definitely, he's kind of gray.
Well, yeah, once you,
He does some bad stuff.
get to Return of the Jedi, you can tell that.
yeah, straight choking fools.
Yeah, I mean-
And slaughtering,
Well, and
slaughtering
slaughtering
everyone on
everybody.
Jabba's
Yeah.
ship. Like you probably could have, and
Yeah, probably not something Yoda would
dumping
have
dudes
done.
in the Sarlacc pit to suffer for thousands of years. It's like, man, it was intense.
Yeah, so it's hard to say, but definitely good things are to come.
Yeah, some interesting.
And
I say it all the time. It's a good time to be a Star Wars fan.
yeah, probably the best time.
It's seriously, it's great.
We're young enough; we can see at least maybe Star Wars number 50.
Right?
I don't know.
Well, if they keep
Every 2 years, I guess they're doing those movies. So
We'll
maybe
get to
Star Wars
20,
25.
25,
Well, yeah, let's be optimistic there.
and a whole lot of Star Wars stories.
Yeah, we're gonna see one for every character, man.
Oh, gosh. Who could? I mean, who's the most ridiculous character we could think of to do an origin story for?
Don't you dare say it.
Well, obviously, there's the worst idea.
Don't say it.
I won't say it.
Okay.
I wouldn't want.
You
no,
know who.
that is the one. That is the one. If they put like him in a Star Wars movie, I would not go and see it. But I probably
They
would.
never will.
No, they wouldn't. There's no
He
way.
is gone.
But what if they did like a Hoth Wampa story, and it was just like
A horror kind of like watch out for the Wampas.
it was like Jaws or something like that, but a Wampa.
I'd watch it.
I think it's
Of course we
interesting.
would.
I mean, it's completely off topic, but do you ever think that within these Star Wars stories that they'll explore other genres, like horror movie potentially, or like Western style? Like if they go to a world that's kind of like
I could see a Boba Fett being kind of a Western style.
Western
since
style.
he, in a way, is kind of like a Clint Eastwood type
or
character.
like romantic, more romantic of a. I just think about it because Lost Stars, the novel was. I mean, it was basically a young adult romance novel. But very good. I really, really enjoyed it.
I
Could you see
it
something like that?
getting close, but not completely bridging? I could see them bringing aspects into the Star Wars world, but not Star Wars world jumping into a Western, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
having influences of,
Right.
but not.
You know, this movie was more of a romance. This
Mhm.
movie is more of a Western, but
It's basically Rogue
not
One.
space Western.
Rogue One could be like their Saving Private Ryan Star Wars
Right.
movie. Then Han Solo could be like, I don't even know how to describe
like
that.
That's just friggin'
An
Han
Ocean's
Solo movie.
11
Oh,
Star Wars
dear
movie.
God.
Basically making a deal.
He's going to.
What's he gonna smuggle?
He's
you
gonna
know?
steal from the local casino, owned by the Hutts.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about like what if they did a movie completely like where the main character is a Sith,
I
and
would.
it's really dark
I
and almost
really-
kind of like a horror, like just
I really want to see
bad.
that.
I mean, just a bad, very dark feeling movie. I think it would be really cool.
Be interesting. I think as long as the spin-offs go well, they can. Disney's basically gonna have them free reign to do whatever they want. And
Yeah.
like here's our money.
I really
doing it.
think that Rogue One's gonna do well. I mean, I think with
Yeah.
just with the actors you have signed on.
Mm.
I mean, I don't think you get Forrest Whitaker to sign on to a bad movie.
So hopefully
I'm
soon.
optimistic.
Yeah.
I want to see a trailer or teaser, whatever.
Something.
Well, did you see
Anything.
the?
A poster.
It's basically been debunked, but there was supposed leaked Rogue One footage. All it shows is some AT-ATs and like a sunset, and then a TIE fighter going over some clouds. But then at the end it says Rogue One, a Star Wars anthology. So it doesn't even have the right title on
They didn't even get the right.
So, but it still has like the tracking marks and stuff. Like maybe it was like early footage, possibly that they sent around when they first.
Who leaked it?
I have no idea, but it's on YouTube.
Somebody who no longer works for Disney.
Yeah, so
He mysteriously died.
yeah, who knows?
In a Sarlacc pit,
It's-
maybe.
I don't know.
They
Like,
threw him in the Sarlacc pit.
yeah, it's only like 20 seconds, but it looks cool. It shows literally nothing, just Empire, ships, and vehicles. So I'll show you guys after this.
Yeah, I've seen that.
But
I'm calling it right now. There's going to be a Star Wars 50 Shades of Grey style
Oh.
movie. Focused around Jabba the Hutt and
you
his
can
Twi'lek
Chains
slaves.
and
It's going to be really kinky and very, 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 very controversial.
yeah, because then if you
I
don't
wanna
do what
see
he
Jabba's
if you don't
face
do
around.
what he wants, he feeds you to the Rancor.
It's going to get really gory
Oh dear God!
and very sexually explicit.
All right, moving far away from that topic.
As far as possible.
What are you talking about? We're talking about music now.
Yeah, we're moving on to the last topic, just kind of general Star Wars asking question. Out of all of the saga, what is your favorite piece of music?
I thought I had an answer.
We
coming
have to
into
throw.
this.
We have to throw out
I'm
like
gonna have to say
the
two
Star
or
Wars
something.
one, right? Because that's
Obviously.
like automatic.
That's the one that gives you the
Ba-bum!
chills.
I mean,
All right.
in the
Outside of that, an Imperial March.
yeah. See, I was going to
Okay.
say Imperial March, but then
I would say that. Oh no, yeah, that's too iconic Star
well,
Wars.
then you've got Imperial March in major key, which is weird.
Yeah, it sounds
Very
too happy.
weird. It's very
Oh,
happy.
I don't know if I've ever heard that. Where
Well,
do they do
I'll just
that in
show
the
it to you.
trilogy?
No, somebody just they
Made it up.
re-recorded
Yeah.
a major instead of a minor key.
Weird.
It's weird.
John Williams, I think, scores like all this stuff in a minor key, which gives it that kind of darker
Ominous.
sound, ominous sound.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
a minor key, a major key is just like.
It sounds like a John Philip Sousa march. Is pretty much what it sounds like.
That'd be interesting.
So,
But we started watching that video about the super deluxe edition
Book of the Sith,
Book of the Sith, and they had what was the name
Duel
of
of the
that?
Fates.
Duel of Fates, and it just made me. I
So
forgot
good.
how good the music was from Episode 3, and I think Duel of the Fates is probably
Well, episode one.
episode 1.
is that Episode 1?
Yeah.
When Darth Maul and Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon were fighting. That was the
Oh,
music.
But they,
line.
they,
right.
they definitely brought it back.
They-
it was
yeah,
in
they-
episode 2 as well.
They melded it with that other kind of like operatic sounding song in Revenge of the
I
Sith.
was gonna say, what was the song where the final battle of Episode 3?
I think it's called like Battle of the Heroes.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking.
It's
of.
really good. That one's
That one's really good too.
I can hear it in my mind right now.
I like those two.
Yeah, Duel of the Fates is
I
really
love. It's really weird that they
Um,
both come.
good.
from
The first one,
original.
The first one that
Prequel.
pops in my head is Duel of the Fates.
Yeah.
I mean, outside, of course, of those other two. But I really, really, the more I listen to it, the more I really like Rey's theme. I think it's really cool. I like how John Williams, I feel like in The Force Awakens, he was able to... I mean, you don't notice the music, but it adds so much. And I think that's cool because, especially with Rey, it kind of added to the loneliness. You don't really even notice that it's there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's cool. But going back and listening to it by yourself, it really... I don't know. It seems to enhance that feeling that she's by herself, but optimistic. And I don't know. It's a cool theme.
The most noticeable music in The Force Awakens is definitely Kylo's theme. It's basically whenever his shuttle is coming, there's that crazy, I can't think of how it goes off the top of my head.
I need to re-listen to it.
But it's like basically you recognize it's Kylo's theme, and he's like, "Oh shit's about to go down.
He's about to die.
He's coming in on his shuttle."
Still not quite as epic as the Imperial March.
No, but
that still just signifies.
Yeah, nothing I think will
shit.
beat the originals, but Duel of the Fates definitely out of the prequels is probably the top notch. And I really like the. It's actually the Emperor's theme from Return of the Jedi. It's like a really low sounding song, like lo 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 lo, like that.
Not ringing any
Question.
Not ringing any bells.
One of the main Star Wars lines, the do 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 do, is that's not the main one, right? But it's not also not. It's not the Imperial one, so that's a different thing, right?
I think that's just called the Force theme, possibly.
That might. I mean, if that one's not outside of
far.
Because it seems like that's the one they use at the most critical moments. Rey's handing the lightsaber and then that theme comes in, and Luke's looking off in the distance at the sunset, and that theme comes in.
Yeah, when he grabs the lightsaber out of the Snow at Hoth, I think it plays. And
I think it played too when Rey got the lightsaber.
Yeah.
I mean that one just it kind of reiterates to you that something important is taking place with the Force. But
yeah,
it's good stuff.
I'm surprised you didn't go with the Cantina song or the
the reggae one
or
the original one,
both,
or the Return of the Jedi one.
Yeah,
that
you
one.
love singing that one so much.
Oh gosh,
Yeah.
I really like the music during the pod racing scene. Oh, wait, there is no music.
Yeah, I was gonna say not ringing any bells.
No, yeah, that
It's
scene was kind of
just
weird,
the sound
yeah.
effects, which I think is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
The sound effects are amazing, though.
I think Attack of the Clones, has the worst music.
The Attack of the Clones seems like just reused.
Reused.
All the music
The
from
only
the other
difference is they used something for it's like a new song for Anakin and Padme, but it's more of a romantic sound.
I feel like
thing.
whenever they went to Camino, it had its own. It had that do 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 do.
Yeah.
I think that one was.
It was kind of
It's
like
Twilight.
It was
Zone-y
interesting.
feeling.
It was interesting. I kind of. I mean,
mystery-ish,
I think it added to it.
Yeah, I forgot about that one. So
I think if we went back and listened to it, we might find out that there's some cool
Yeah.
stuff in there.
Yeah, there's probably not really any very bad
John
Williams
No,
music.
I guess
You can't really
there
go.
isn't. Because then even in Empire Strikes Back, at just small moments when the Millennium Falcon's flying and stuff.
We just watched Empire Strikes Back a couple days ago.
Han and Leia's theme's really good. They redid it
good.
in Force Awakens just for a snippet. And that's another good piece of music.
Oh yeah, that one's great too. Now I can't choose. I can't.
Yeah, it's
It
hard
was
to
so easy
say.
at the beginning.
Well,
It's hard to
when
say.
someone asked me, I think Duel of the Fates, outside of those most iconic ones,
Right.
sticks out
Yeah.
because it was very good and very different from
Mhm.
any of the other ones.
Very strong.
Had the chorus, the people singing.
Yeah. Because that's probably why people were disappointed with the Force Awakens soundtrack, just because it didn't have
Didn't have that.
a hit song, essentially.
Yeah.
A really catchy song. Besides, Kylo's is really the only kind of catchy one. I can't think of it, but
Yeah.
replays multiple times during the movie. But
It was a different score, and I like that as you go back and listen to it.
I listen to it every other day at work, so I just
Good
hang
for
out.
you, Jake.
I just hang out and listen to it. It's just in my brain. but then I can't hum any of the music because I'm so not musically talented.
I can kind of hear Ray's theme in my
Yeah.
mind right now.
But like, do, 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 do,
Yeah, it starts out with like a little piano.
Obviously, this podcast is named after one of the songs on the Force Awakens soundtrack, "The Ways of the Force." So,
Well, I don't even know how that one goes.
it's the one. It's the one during the lightsaber duel. So it's kind of a combination of Rey and Kylo's themes, kind of melded while they fight.
Oh man, I'm so pumped for that movie to come out.
Yeah, not too long.
I'm gonna watch
Then
it.
we-
I'm gonna watch it so many times.
Then we can have an entire show just reviewing the Blu-ray
Deleted
and all the
scenes,
deleted
the
scenes.
documentary.
I know. I'm pumped for the documentary.
Well, I read somewhere, heard somewhere what every single one of the deleted scenes was, and it sounds like there would be some good ones.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the one I want. I don't get to see Maz using the Force, but
Using the
whatever.
Force. And then is
Maybe-
there no
maybe someday.
Chewie
Episode
ripping the guy's arm off?
No, there's
No.
not going to be one of the.
Disappointing. That would have been cool.
It seems like the big one's going to be the Kylo Ren discovers the Millennium Falcon, and then there's a snow speeder chase with I think Rey and Finn
Mm-hmm.
when they're going to pull out whatever piece that is that opens up the doors that let Han and Chewie go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You guys have anything else to add this week? You said you just got done reading.
I just finished Tarkin. I thought it was really good, very interesting. I mean, Tarkin's. It's cool to get a different perspective on Tarkin.
Mm-hmm.
And like realize why he was so cool, why he became a Grand Moff, and he was just a genius. And it was interesting, like the home planet he grew up on, they kind of did this as part of his Tarkin culture. Like, I mean, the planet is basically ruled by the Tarkin family, and they have this huge heritage of Tarkins and what they. And so they do this thing like when they reach a certain age where they kind of do like walkabout, like they do on like Australian continents and certain like Aborigine, where they just like let him go into this really intense part of the planet and he just survives and learns crazy stuff. And I mean, it like shaped him and he learned all these lessons, and it's a really good story.
Mm-hmm.
First, I thought we were going to... Never mind. Nobody's probably watched the Dinosaurs show from the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
The like
But not
sitcom
recently.
one?
Yeah.
I haven't watched
It was on
it.
Netflix
I
for
thought you
a
were going
while.
to say where they get old enough, whatever birthday it is, and they just chuck them off a cliff.
Oh, yeah.
That's where I thought you were going.
I mean,
with
not
that.
quite, but it was. I mean, there was some pretty intense stuff going on. Like, he has kind of his own like trial at the end, where he has to face this like pack of crazy animals, and it's pretty cool. I recommend it. It's a good one.
Does it lead pretty much right up to A New Hope, or does it?
So
Still...
it's 5 years after the Revenge of the Sith, and Tarkin is on Sentinel Base, which is where the Death Star is being constructed, and he's overseeing that.
Okay.
So it starts there, and then there's kind of it basically shows his promotion to Grand Moff.
Okay.
So, and I think at the end the Death Star is finished. So yeah, I think it does
Just
lead
lead
right
you
into
basically right into that.
Yeah.
No.
It's worth a read.
Okay. Check it out. So definitely check that book out.
Rip off
Rip off
Audible some more. I'll probably do it again. Stop me, Audible.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to feed you guys raised bread.
Oh man.
It's weird, but it's not that bad.
Yeah, what was that one ingredient that was really strange?
Matcha
Matcha.
powder. It's
What
like
is that?
It's like it's basically green tea.
Mm.
So the bread's green, and I don't know. It tastes good. It tastes
What
like
just tastes like bread?
tastes like really nice fresh bread.
Huh.
So it doesn't take long to make.
You said 60 seconds in the microwave, and it was just
45
and
seconds.
it was just bread.
Yeah, I might try to come up with maybe like do it on the stove to actually see it rise like it did in the movie.
Hot plate or something.
Yeah, do it on a hot plate or something to try it out.
That would be cool.
So, yeah, definitely check out the video on how to make raised portion bread. It's on the channel as well as check out all of our other episodes. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and let us know of any questions you have. Leave your comments. Just let us know in general if we suck.
Ask
Or-
us something.
Ask
Say
us-
something, anything. I don't care.
Tell us we suck.
Yeah.
Troll us.
Troll us all you want.
If you made it this far in the podcast,
If you
you're
think
our
this-
number one fan.
If you think this podcast is better than The Force Awakens, let us know.
Oh God, no! I'm not reading those.
Something like this has got a better one.
Yeah. So basically, signing off. I'm Jake the Wookie, and you can follow me on Twitter at Jake the Wookie. We have a Facebook page. We just post some Star Wars stuff and post the videos. So if you want to stay up to date with our stuff, you can like our Facebook page. And alongside me today,
Kyle, no daddy issues, Ren.
Logi-Wan Kenobi.
and may the Force be with you all.
Man.